Hey guys, it's Hio, and today we're going to go over why SP Innana is so strong and why she's a must-pull tier 0 human rights character. So if you don't have SP Innana, you are legally inhuman. That is sort of where we're working with here. So keep that in mind. And why is that? Why exactly is she so good? What does it mean for Swords of Convallaria? Well, one I think is you're probably going to see this one a lot more often. It's one of those things where like you should probably get her while you have the chance, while she's not sort of just in the unit pool and sort of not high pick rate, because once you lose her and like you don't have the really more decisive way of getting her, like based on like pity or something like that, like you're gonna be kind of struggling perhaps on newer content. And so we're just gonna go over like why that is. So what we did is, because she's not out yet, we're just gonna go over some of the posts that we've seen on the internets, the interwebs. And thankfully, we've got someone who actually has, I think, tried it, SP Innana, or at least maybe played with them or have some guide them, and that is going over one of Garbelius, I think Lord Garbelius is their name, his guide for SP Innana. Not necessarily exactly what he's playing, but more so what the attacks are, how they're used, and like why is it used, like what about this attack makes it so okay. So let's just go over the traits one by one. We can go see how they compares with like in-game units right now. Okay, so first thing we have is free will. So all in all, this trait essentially acts as from my understanding, a way to have at least maybe some later stages Innana act again, but also a unit of her choice act again based on the Call of Freedom ability. And we have had abilities in the past that do give act again, not necessarily super unique. Some characters give themselves another sort of quote-unquote act again ability. That's basically an instant, right? Like instants are essentially just abilities that allow you to act again, right? So think of something like August, right? August has his ability on his, I think, first signature ability. We've got Swift, right? This is essentially an act again, and for most intents and purposes, or like it's like damage based, right? Now, I guess there are some cases where it's not, right? Where it's like you need to cast a non-instant skill. Then it's not really an act again. But that's not to say that like you can't cast an active skill, right? You can just switch from this instant skill to something like a basic attack, and that sort of kind of emulates a act again in a sort of way. But mind you, it's not on someone else, an ally. It's on them themselves. We do have, I think, one or two. It might just be one unit really. That gives act again, and that is Innana herself. It's pretty exclusive sort of ability, really, if I'm thinking about it. I don't know other units actually outside of Innana that has like give act again to another unit. So Innana's ability act again, and I guess this is the only way to compare SP Innana really, is the fact that she can give act again and magic attack up, attack up to, on top of magic defense up to. And so, I mean, 2 energy and 3 turn cooldown for an act again. Okay, and it's got a 2 tile range. Okay, that's like the barometer of like how strong act again is. And the fact that it is sort of exclusive to Innana does sort of go to show that like this is somewhat strong. At least it's sort of a identifier or signature ability of Innana. Like if you want a unit that can make someone act again, like you go to Innana, like that's her thing. And that's probably goes to show like where her power budget is too. Like for example, other than act again, like where else is she strong? She can heal, right? She can, that's kind of it though, right? She heals and she like causes units to act again. Now she can dispel too, but that goes without saying. So like act again in itself seems like a pretty strong ability if like a whole unit is designed around using that. Okay, so now leading back to SP Innana, so her ability free will allows units to act again, essentially. Given that like she has the freedom stance from it. On top of that, it also allows, so let's see, it heals target ally and grants them freedom stance, which allows them to target to act another action for their next non-instant skill. And then the only difference I think is like the damage she goes to say, but on top of that, it's a heal, which I mean, okay, it's already kind of overloaded, right? The damage reduction and then the heal, it's kind of a lot. Like if you think about Princess's Prayer, it only gives you basically damage reduction and magic defense, but it also gives you attack up. And this also gives you attack up too with damage up, just in a different sense. Now, there could be a reason why you do want to run attack up. Like for example, if you have a unit that's actually just trying to heal other units, like if SP Innana gives a, let's say like Coco, more heal, right? Because I don't know, one of your units are super low, and like just a simple Coco Bento won't do. Like this damage up isn't going to impact Coco in that sense, where like attack up will, because I guess Bento doesn't scale off attack, right? Maybe think of someone like Samantha, where like she can heal based off her attack, right? So in that case, Samantha can actually heal more because she has the attack up and not the damage up. So there are some trade-offs there. But then again, also you do get this energy. So this is also like a big change here. Like this gives you not only this passive already gives you not only another ability, it also gives you additional energy on top of the unit getting a little more bulkier with the damage reduction. And damage reduction is also a little more scarce, and so it doesn't have a lot of overlap with what current units are doing with their buffs. So this is kind of like strong because this is already a rare buff that like this unit is giving on top of the extra turn, and that's all on an instant. That's all an instant, right? So like this is pretty strong. This is an instant skill that's doing this. So that goes out saying like, yeah, she's still doing stuff her turn that isn't healing and giving someone an extra turn. And we don't really have precedence for that. The only thing that is sort of counteracting this though is the fact that it does require 8 stacks to use, right? So unlike the current, so it's like a sort of different resource. Unlike the current Innana where it only requires energy and a cooldown, the cooldown is sort of based on also your team's ability to help Innana give stacks or Innana's ability to give stacks. So there is sort of a different sort of gate on how much she can use this. But granted, if you are able to get this many stacks that frequently, like this is also just like super strong. Like this is definitely stronger than Princess's Prayer. So like it sort of also stems on the fact that like how fast can you get these stacks for SP Innana? It's still really strong regardless, right? Because I'm assuming she's going to accumulate over turns these amount of stacks, so it's good. And that's basically, if it's free like this, right, there's no extra energy expenditure, I think it is just like you cast it for an instant for free. Oh no, this skill costs 2 energy to consume. Oh, I see. So it costs 2 energy to consume, so it's basically 2 energy, and then assuming it's 2 stacks per turn, I think it's like base star level, that's 8, so that's gonna be 4 turns, so it's a 4 turn cooldown if you have no extra help, I'm assuming. Yeah, that's it kind of takes longer to use this over turn compared to Princess's Prayer. But, you know, we're sort of assuming, I guess, maybe that we're at 5 stacks or 5 stars. Yeah, this is a strong ability. Furthermore, Innana also gives, which I don't know if it shows here. Oh yeah, it also gives her attack and defense up 25%. This is quite insane. If you consider what other units are doing with 25% attack and defense, usually that's like based on engravings you have, right? Like no other unit really has that high of attack defense. I think Teen's like one of the higher ones that have higher attack and defense, but generally it's not really part of his kit, right? He gets his defense from his shields. If you think of someone like who has high defense or gets high defenses, I guess Aisha, right? Doesn't she get defense based off, and Pamina, defense based off her star levels? So yeah, this is 10% defense. Mind you, this is at 3 star levels and is not a seeker. She starts to peak at 15% defense, but she also gets some other stuff here, but like 15% defense, and I guess she adds her defense to other attacks, but also some of that like cost of like having a lower defense is spread out through her other abilities, such as like the pledge and the on duty, right? So she also gets damage reduction. So like maybe it still is on par, right? Like 15%, it sort of depends on like, is defense stronger in that scenario versus damage reduction? Odds are damage reduction is probably a little stronger. So maybe this is like on par with Innana. Okay, but let's see, what else do we have going for Innana? So with this ability, she starts at 6 to 8 stacks of free will, I guess. So she can just use it once at the start of the battle, which makes sense because with SP Innana, if they're sort of keeping it, I'm sorry, with regular Innana, if they're sort of keeping it on parity, then she also can start the battlefield with using her act again, right? So you start the battle with 3 energy, and she can just open with this. So pretty good. Okay, but like it's just her instant, right? SP regular Innana's Princess's Prayer is not an instant, so that's her full turn. What else is Innana doing with her turn? She got a few other abilities. I think in particular we're gonna go over, based on this guide, her like signature abilities, and her basics actually has 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken, is Sword of Dawnlight, and then there's another sword. So she says it right here, Sword of Dusk. Sword of Dawnlight does AoE magic damage equal to 100% of Innana's power, which is quite good. I don't know if too many other units have like an AoE auto attack. We do have a unit with AoE auto attack. That's Miguel, right? Miguel has a auto attack that deals damage to everyone around them. Even if not, it's good to compare what an attack that does 100% magic damage looks like. Like how much energy does it cost? Is it free? Is it just like an action that costs energy? That's good to compare. Okay, so he does 80% fire damage to units within around that I think target. So this is already dealing more than Miguel. Is Miguel being power creeped? Maybe. It sort of depends also here, like what exactly is this fire doing? Like what scenarios is this coming up? It seems like it transforms the flammable tile into burning. So I don't know. I actually haven't used Miguel too much. I can't remember if this actually turns the tile into burning. That might be relevant in some cases if like your team is super I don't know, burn or fire oriented. That could be helpful. But in this case, it's like, is it enough to justify the extra 20% damage difference? And mind you, I do think in general, physical damage is weaker. I think maybe because it's like, I don't know, a little like there's more physical damage in the game, so it's got to be a little weaker. It's a little weaker than magical damage. So this kind of goes to show like this, even the auto attack here is sort of being power creeped by everyone else. Okay, so what else do we have? Okay, so the other ability that we have here, and also this is the same range from the ability. We also have Sword Dusk, which I think just knocks back the unit, which could be strong, I guess, especially if you're going for like more cheesy comps. Like this could be strong, but honestly, the AoE 100% magic damage, AoE like to the target and everyone around them sounds pretty strong. That sounds pretty strong. The other thing about this is though, like the AoE magic damage, yeah, I think just generally gonna be strong, and plus you're probably gonna apply buffs to that too as well. Like comparing it depending on like what weapon has buffs, right? I guess not, because I think most sword weapons do single target damage. Maybe that is a point to say that like you're just not gonna be spreading too many effects with the ability. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. That might be the case though. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So yes, you can use her auto attacks, which of course any unit can use. We have another ability, and this ability I think is her reaction. So this one is kind of deceptively, I don't know, kind of interesting to me. Like this sort of makes me think to play SP Innana in a few different ways, just because the way that it's worded is like, wow, as a seeker you can get this much defense. Mind you, it's over time, but like, okay, so what does it do? Basically, it gives her, depending on which one you choose, I think this one in particular, I guess Battle Hardened Warrior, I think the one Garbelis is specifying, gives you extra attack and defense based on the number of stacks of battlefield experience you get. And that is based on the number of non-instant skills being used in the game around SP Innana, around 5 tiles. As long as the fight is going on and like you have a longer game, assuming you're not running like Seeker Rush, where like literally the whole point of the map is to like just kill units as fast as possible. I guess in the end that's maybe the point, right? Is kill these units as fast as possible. Like you're gonna get pretty tanky throughout the game. So at max stacks, because it's 2% per stack, and you're going 15%, 15 stacks, that's gonna be 30% damage reduction on a Seeker. I was just thinking about like making a video about how like Seekers are kind of like low-key OP because they don't have any sort of weaknesses, and this is just like kind of wild. Assuming that she's getting the 25% damage or defense from her passive, and she's going to be able to get to 15%, 30% damage reduction on her reaction. That's really good. That is very good. We don't have, I guess, the only comparison here I think is Innana, and that she can get that tanky. I'm sorry, not tanky, that powerful, in the sense that her trait gives her magic attack, if I'm not mistaken, equal to the Battlefield Trial, which I don't remember. Is Battlefield Trial? Wait, I actually just lost Innana. Did I put anything on her? Where did she go? Okay, there she is. Yeah, her trait, and the character is defeated, which is much weaker, right? The SP Innana only cares that like you're just casting non-instant skills, and on top of that, whenever she uses a non-instant skill, she gains a stack of free will. So you basically are funneling your next act again here too. But I'm not sure if this is based on, I guess if this is based on, like, is she gaining stacks in addition to the stacks from her passive? At the end of her action, she gains 2 or 3 more stacks. That's to say, like, is this including the fact that, like, this is innate with the trait? Or is this just because she's using, no, because this is a reaction, right? This just happens passively? Yeah, that's kind of strong. So this is going to be happening more frequent than I thought. It may be dependent on, like, the star level too, at some point. But, like, yeah, like assuming that it's not also attributing stacks, this is already pretty strong for her passive. Like she's getting super tanky as a seeker. Like this is kind of wild. Okay, and then the clear choice reaction skill is the natural sword. If you do not have access to the skill, the clear choice reaction skill is the natural sword intent, which gives her preempt. And then she has 6 more stacks. She uses free will and is not defeated. She revives at 35% HP and consumes 6 stacks and gains her damage reduction 4. So it's damage, so it's minus 40% damage. So on top of this, I'm assuming she doesn't lose her stacks here from the battlefield experience. That's 30% plus 40% damage, so it's 70% damage reduction. I'm like, oh, should I build her as a tank? like tanky SP Innana? Is that the way to go? Which is kind of funny because she does look like relatively puny compared to like someone like Coco and Maita, who's like a big bulky shields, right? And you got this just one strong warrior's single sword that just like literally tanks everything. Like, yeah, that's kind of wild. But yeah, I think definitely like the first ability is better because it also comes with the aura of giving extra 12% attack, and that's kind of like a free aura, right? It's just like a free aura. I think by itself, battlefield experience from her passive. I guess this is okay. Okay, I guess you do need also the Innana character for this to maybe happen at some extent. Once she reaches 3 stars, as long as you have the base Innana character, SP Innana gains access to skill battle armor. The skill allows SP Innana to do whenever any character. Wait, I'm actually confused how the SP works. Like, do we need, like, is this ability just like not complete until we have the base character? I mean, I have Innana, but like, I'm actually kind of confused a little bit by this. Okay, but yeah, this ability by itself still, like, if you can get this, assuming that we do get the 3-star and we get like this working properly, like, this is a crazy amount of like utility here. But yeah, but I know people, I feel like she is meant to be played support, at least she comes off as being like a very supportive character. She doesn't have any heals yet. Like, we don't see it in her kit yet, which is kind of interesting. No, we did see the heal. We saw the heal from the passive, but it seems like too far in between if it's just like those 3 skills you went over, like her reaction, her trait, and her basic. I mean, you'd call those all skills. Okay, but maybe we'll find more. Next up, we've got Convallaria Swordplay, or Light of Convallaria. I think this is her main build. This is her main attack. Where basically like deals physical damage or magic damage based on which one you choose, or I guess based on its rotation or something. The first skill is going to depend entirely what you build. I would want to say that if you already have, for instance, 5 stars SP Safia on your team, then DPS build might want to go. I guess the difference here is like she's granting damage reduction versus attack and damage. So this skill provides Innana with 2 stacks energy and also gives allies 3 attacks. Yeah. I mean, it's a good skill. It's like an AoE attack. Like, one thing that I'm not sure is like, does this use energy? Because I'm thinking like the units that I'm thinking of now, like the base rare units, like Dark Light Priests. A lot of times they have like the ice cone because they already have energy in their kit. So you can just spam that and you never use your basic attack. Is this could be like a good substitute for the basic attack? I mean, I feel like it can, but like, because this is AoE, it's like, do you want to double dip on AoE for your basic attack as well? Like, do you just prefer the knockback? So yeah, so if you're using DPS build, then your first skill should be Swordplay, which is actually 2-in-1 choices of skills. So this is the deals AoE magic damage on all enemies within 3x3 grid. Gains your damage reduction. If it only hits one target, multiplayer is increased. Okay, whatever. Second skill deals the same thing with physical damage and knocks back the target. Then she gains damage reduction. Okay. So this is interesting actually, because if she's getting damage reduction 2 here, and she's getting damage reduction, I mean, she's getting 30% damage reduction here. That's 50% damage reduction. And what else were we looking at? Okay. She gets damage reduction 2 here as well. But I'm assuming she doesn't target this on herself, right? Might not be able to, actually don't know. Like, she's got a lot of like tankiness to her kit. It's like giving people damage reduction like everywhere. I thought Terra was like really strong for that reason, but like damage reduction here, like everywhere, jeez. I mean, this is like Terra levels of like redundancy and damage reduction, right? Because you can just, yeah, you just spam damage reduction with Terra. Okay, so both skills only cost 2 energy and have no cooldown, which is like fine. If she gets bonus action at 5 stars, she's guaranteed to be able to cast either one of them. So it's assuming you're cast it on yourself then. 2 energy is nothing to scoff at. I'm assuming she doesn't have energy reduction in her kit anywhere, or energy generation, right? Because this is all like, I guess the energy generation is using the Actian on her own kit. Like, you auto attack, use an energy, go next turn because you use the freedom stance, and then you basically cast the AoE. That's like 100% plus 100% plus 100% physical attack, 100% magic attack, and then 100% physical attack. If it's one character, it's 150. So that's 250 in a turn, just assuming like, you know, just no defenses apply. That's 250% like attack a turn on damage, which is honestly a lot. Like, for one instance of like Innana dealing damage in a turn, like a couple across, I guess I'm gonna say a turn. I say like it as if her turn is 1 turn plus her Actian turn. Yeah, we don't have really, and that's like a selfish sort of DPS build, right? We don't really have any like things similar to that. You could think of that as kind of Convallaria-esque, right? Because with Convallaria, look at Convallaria's build. He gets basically more damage on his roster, and he can apply a roster immediately. His Conviction. This is 100% damage. You apply roster, it's 160. The unit finishes, the defending unit finishes their turn, 100% applies again before Convallaria's next turn. That's 260% magic attack, right? That's not assuming, and then roster triggers again. It's kind of like Convallaria's level of damage, right? It's a little less, but like it's getting really close. Considering it's AoE, like some of the power budget is spent probably through the AoE. That's around like, assuming nothing, not too much else, right? That's 60% times 2 because you're triggering roster twice, 120, and they're triggering the Conviction debuff. It's going to be 200% damage across 2 turns. So that's 320? Jeez, that's like 320? That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, so next up, for a second skill, you probably want to get the Battle Flag of Convallaria. This is an instant skill that summons a Battle Flag for all allies from area or Sword of Convallaria. This is interesting because it does require you to run like, actually no, it gives her defenses, and it also only triggers for Sword of Convallaria area, which is kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's strong in its own right? Like it gets her tanky, but like the amount of units it impacts, I guess, is sort of dependent on the team. But like it's only instant, right? See if it costs anything extra here. For each one ally from blah blah blah, increases damage dealt by 3%, damage reduced by 3%, up to 15%. Jeez, more damage reduction. So at max, assuming 15, you've got 30% from damage reduction debuff, 30% from her passive, 20% from her damage reduction 2, and then 15% from here. That's 65% damage reduction. And then imagine you run the Terra, an extra 20%. Oh my gosh. In addition to the excellent buff surprise, he also grants co-attack, co-defense, all allies within 5 tiles. Okay, 5 tiles is 5 tiles? I don't think we've ever seen that before. Isn't co-defense mostly just like 2 tiles? Who gives co-defense? Why Innana gives co-defense? Where's Innana? Right? She gives co-defense, I'm pretty sure. Co-defense within 3 tiles. Oh, I actually didn't notice. Wait, co-defense, no, it's, yeah, for 3 turns, but it only costs 2 turns for it to recharge. I'm curious if it works like this, where it's like, if it's area, it lasts a little longer. I feel like most buffs, when they do this, it's usually the turn that it comes off cooldown, you can apply it again, right? It's only 2 turns, but, yeah, so like, this is super overloaded. After she casts a skill, it changes to For This World of Peace. Okay, this is an instant, so she can cast this immediately. So she basically triggered a soulmate with co-defense. She got tankier, and then this skill allows her to target a tile within 3 tiles without unleashing a magical attack. There's 30% physical attack on all enemies within 2 tiles of the target. Before attacking, she cleanses 5 buffs from each of the targets. When only attacking one enemy, the multiplier increases to 180%. The first skill has an energy cost of 3, a cooldown of 3. Wait, has an energy cost and cooldown of 3. So it definitely cannot be spammed. Okay, I mean, it can be spammed, but like, you got Coco in your party, and it's like, you're casting this every other turn. This is absolutely insane. So you're casting basically, this is also more damage, by the way. Who I think is like, you know, has a pretty strong ability. This is more damage than Karis's, like her laser beam that she fires out the air, right? 130%. Mind you, it does healing received and move down -2. Yeah, I think 80%. And it only does 80% to the people who are outside of like the main sort of area of impact. Jeez, it's so hard to like show SP Innana and be like, yeah, she's not almost full. Like, she's definitely super strong. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this is like a strong ability. Like, you definitely are running this. Let's go to the next one. Guarding the Sword of Convallaria. For her last skills, just bringing this skill. The passive causes Innana, as long as she has within 2 tiles of 2 tiles allies, 20 less damage and gain 20% attack. Also, whenever she deals physical damage, she converts 2 buffs on the target. So she got even more tankier. One thing I'm curious though about, because how much damage reduction she has, is like, do you just like take no damage as Innana? Like, there's just so much damage reduction. And like, why don't you just run her as like a tanky unit? I guess she can't really. I guess this is all like to her though, right? Like, she can't stop damage from others. That's like where she falls off here. It's like, as long as they're targeting, I mean, you want to target Innana, right? Because she's doing like quite a lot of damage. Just can't take it for anyone else. I mean, she can give people some defenses. It's just like a lot of it is geared towards her. Okay, so yeah, she does some debuffing, stuff, funny shenanigans. She knocks back the target. They can knock back an additional tile, blah blah. The first part of the skill should always be active. The second part is a nice upgrade. Not much to say there. But yeah, that's like the best of Innana, right? She just has such an overloaded kit. You just have to pull her. She just does so much. Not much to say about there. I mean, you could do some theory crafting with like what would be best for her in regards to like swords and like equipment. I don't even know, like Aisha is like a good one to look at. I think Aisha is very strong too. I think she's honestly kind of in similar vein, but I mean honestly probably put on the same team. It just like goes crazy, right? Okay, so let's look at these like abilities or like weapons we could use. Honestly, I'm thinking like we could put Dawn Moon on Innana, and like that would go kind of crazy. But, like, what else are you doing? Everything else she's doing is AoE. So like, what else is like a good thing to put on her? It could be Nocturnal Low or Dawn Moon maybe. I mean, probably you want to run her signature, but like these seem pretty good for like a supportive build. You honestly also might want to run. You probably run Devil. You just run Devil every time. Like Wheel of Fortune doesn't sound that bad too for energy generation. And then depending on what you're running for her trinket, you could go like tanky. I'm thinking about honestly going tanky with it because I love my tanks. So much you could go. You could go like speed. The one thing I just hate is like, oh, I don't want to like leave my tear behind. I love my tear. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot Nana can do. But anyways, that's just some of what Nana does. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Are you pulling her? I mean, of course you have to be pulling her. Like this is, you legally have no rights if you're not getting SP Innana. Like you just just don't play the game at that point. It's kind of unfortunate because like what's a good counter for Innana? I know at least in PvP sense, like she just like ban worthy every time. Like that's where we are. Kind of hard to think about SP Innana definitely as like a character and then just think about what it means for the upcoming characters, right? Like at some point it's like what are they gonna do to ensure that, you know, someone like Mytha can stand up or like be still relevant in regards to units that you want to play, because I've already personally invested in Innana. I'm sorry, in Mytha because I really like her. It might be one of those things where like, you know, sometimes they have those game modes where like you have to rotate your teams, and so Mytha just sort of, you know, can be played in that sense. But other than that, it's like you always want to mainstay some of these like first pick tier 0 units, and it's like, what about my older units that I put like skins onto that have like, you know, all these like special history with? It's like that might be the name of the game, to be honest. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Are y'all picking, yeah, of course y'all are picking Espionana, but how are you building her? I'm super curious. I feel like I'm gonna build her more supportive, but yeah, that would be so peace out, and I'll catch y'all later.